Welcome back to the DJ Sessions, where we feature the best DJs and producers from around the world. I'm your host, Darren, and right now I'm sitting in the virtual studios in Seattle, Washington, and kind of on one side of the nation and the other side of the nation, I'm sitting here today with Arturo and Gabriel from ANG. How's it going today, guys?
Hello, everyone. So happy to be here. Let's hype this up.
You know, you guys are obviously you're a duo team. It's like your twin reactions right there. You just both, you knew exactly what to do. Right away. But we got I believe our Arturo, you're all the way out there in LA, and Gabriel, you're over all the way in Miami.
Yep.
Awesome. So thank you both for coming in on the DJ Sessions Presents the Virtual Sessions. Looking forward to the interview today.
Awesome.
So I was looking through some of your socials recently, and did you guys get to spend New Year's Eve in Vegas?
Almost. It wasn't New Year's Eve, yeah.
Okay.
We were almost there.
It was a little taste of almost New Year's Eve. We spent 12 hours in Vegas, which I highly recommend, and I don't at the same time.
You can get into a lot of trouble in about 4 hours in Vegas.
Yeah,
exactly.
You leave the airplane, and then you have a slot machine there, so you're basically in trouble there.
No, yeah, exactly. No, I saw you were on the Strip, and you had a signed album or something that you were actually giving away. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? And do you do things like that quite frequently?
Yes, I mean, I think it was an idea we had together with Jeffrey for the release that we had, Sink or Swim, that came out last month. And yeah, I mean, I think the fans always love those kinds of stuff. I personally like when artists I look up to give away stuff, and I get to own something that they're giving away. So yeah, that's a lot of fun, and it's a really cool way to connect with the fans.
Yeah, it's also like a token of our appreciation to the fans when they stream our songs or when they buy a new release, and the way they support us. So it's a fun way to give back to the fan base.
Definitely. And we'll be talking about giving away things and monetization of branding and things like that in just a little bit. But yeah, it was really cool. I was like, oh, hey, they were down in Vegas. I was wondering, did you guys get to go to EDC last year?
Oh, we didn't actually. We've never been to EDC Vegas. So hopefully this next year will be our first time, and hopefully we can be there performing. It's definitely a dream of ours. We've obviously been in EDC Mexico for a couple of times, so we know how great of a festival EDC is, and we definitely want to hopefully get on the lineup for the mother of all EDCs in Vegas sometime soon.
We're really looking forward to EDC Vegas this year. I was inspired because I went there last year, and it was my first time ever going. And we are now inspired and are in talks with Insomniac to actually have one of our own stages. Not one of the big, massive stages. That would be awesome. But we were inspired because we have a what's called a mobile studio. If you've gone to our website, we do something called the mobile sessions. And we basically, about 12 years ago, I took a big glass box truck and I built it into a mobile live streaming studio that I could pull up in front of the major events and do interviews with the celebrity DJs and artists and guests, and then have basically a rolling studio. But over time, we've been able to modify it to where it is literally a concert on wheels. Like we had a shot the other day. We were driving around for New Year's, just to give you case in point. I'll get back to get more into the interview here after this shameless self-promotion. We were driving around for New Year's the other day, and we had this lady who just don't know who she is, but she's somewhat of a celebrity reporter or something of that nature. Just had moved to Seattle, caught about 20 seconds of our truck driving around, and from her balcony, it looks like she's probably on at least 10 stories up. And she walks out on her patio and she's like, what the heck is this? And she gets about 20 seconds of our truck driving down the street. You could hear the sound system like you were standing right next to it. Number two, it got like in the first day, it had 19,000 views.
Okay.
You know, it wasn't like millions of views, but we were like, yeah. So it was blowing up online, and a bunch of my friends started hitting me up, going, Darren, this person tweeted about you. They tweeted about the truck. And we tried to stay on top of that, and we jumped back and said, oh, come along for a ride sometime. But we're looking at making that truck a centerpiece of a stage at EDC. So hopefully we'll see you there this year.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, we're very excited for that opportunity. But let's get back to you guys and what you've been up to. Recently, you released a track called 1,000 Drums with, please forgive me out there, Origin Nielsen. I hope I said that right. I'm not Norwegian, so don't have the pronunciations all down. But yeah, tell us about that collaboration and what that's been like, because you got it right up behind you. Might as well talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, the song, actually, we started that song like 6 years ago. The song just came out, and we're super excited to see how it performs online. The fans love it. We've gotten great support so far. And yeah, there's actually a cool story about that song. I think that was actually a demo we made for Origin back then, like 5 years ago. And somehow we just, we finished it, but it didn't really sound that good. It wasn't meeting the standards. We didn't know at the time, obviously. But that was the first song that we sent to W&W, which is, it came out on their label. And I remember they told us a story in Miami where they sent it to Armin as well, because they thought it was something that fit that sound more. And obviously nothing happened 5 years ago. The sound wasn't there yet. But it's funny because, it all came back. We last summer, we just decided to revive the track and to give a little bit of a fresh take on it. And yeah, I mean, it just happened really organic. It was a tough one, but we're very excited for that one.
Yeah, and also like having the opportunity to get to work with Origin. It's like, obviously we've been huge fans of his sound for years now, so it was definitely a dream come true. And it's also, like one of our personal favorite tracks ever. Like we used to play this song in all of our sets for years, and we said, like, there's just no way that this track will never come out. So we're really glad that we had the opportunity to rework it and then have Origin come in, and it's definitely a very fresh sound, I believe.
Yeah, and I mean, that wasn't the only thing you were up to last year, because last year I saw you had 15 releases with over 12 million streams. What a feat. I mean, that's more than a track a month. Definitely 1 million streams a month, 250,000 listens a week. I mean, that's pretty awesome for some numbers. And, how many tracks does it take you to actually produce to get to those releases at that point? Like, how many tracks do you actually produce a month or in a year? And then to get to 15 releases, if we took last year as an example?
Man, honestly, the last couple, maybe like the last, not counting last year, but before that, maybe the 2 years, 3 years before, or ever since we started, we would produce so many songs and so many of them wouldn't come out.
Yeah.
And lately we have honestly been finishing the ones that we know that are going to come out, which is probably not or a lot of producers won't agree with this. But it's just been, we've had busy schedules, and I think that's really worked for us, where we really, say this song really has potential, let's finish it. This song doesn't, this song has. We have so many ideas though. Like,
that's always super important, to keep the flux of ideas like rolling. And you like, case in point, the 1,000 Drums track, you never know, like you never know when you will be able to, maybe you revisit the sound, the idea in a couple of years and it's fresh for that moment. So it's always important to keep the flux of ideas. But yeah, like Arturo was saying, we're focusing on the main ones we think have a lot of potential, and the ones we want to, wrap up and give them to the world. So exactly. I think that's, yeah.
What's been the most unusual place that you've ever heard one of your tracks being played before?
Unusual?
Or an unexpected? Or
I mean,
there's a bunch. There's a bunch.
Yeah, I mean, but do you mean like that we were there in person?
Yeah, you were like, you walk into a room, you aren't expecting to not, like, you're sitting in the airport and all of a sudden it comes over the, system. You're like,
Well,
whoa.
actually, this past week, I was sitting in. I went to Acapulco with my family, which is south of Mexico City, and I was just sitting down at the lobby of the building, and so they usually have like a playlist going, but I never put the music there, and it's usually someone who he just goes on Spotify and just search for like top songs or whatever, and our song Disappear came, like it was like on the rotation of, because it played like a 5-6 times throughout a week or something. So that was unexpected. I mean, it was definitely a moment where I was just like, whoa, that's my song. And a lot of people came up to me and he was like, wait, why, like, are you playing the music? Like, why are you playing your songs? And I was like, no, it's not me.
That's awesome.
I guess also another story where this was very unexpected was the first time we received some main stage support by Blaster Jacks at Ultra. So yeah, we were in the crowd. We were just like, we went to Ultra's festival attendees, like we just as fans, and we were on the main stage watching Blaster Jack set, and they played one of our tracks. So that was a great unexpected moment for our music being heard live, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I was going to actually ask you about Ultra 22. Are you going? Will you be going to Ultra 22? Are you participating in Ultra 2022?
Yeah, we'll definitely be around.
We'll be around for sure.
I mean, with one of you, it's kind of like living there.
Exactly.
It's like,
Yeah,
I'll have to come by and visit you. We're definitely planning to be out there for that, and be on the ground. It'll be nice to get out of the weather that we're in up here and be back. It's actually funny, in 2009 it was my first winter music conference when both Ultra and WMC were together, and just the energy and everything down there, the collaboration, the networking, being my first kind of out of state press opportunity, was just amazing. The hotel parties, everything is just awesome. So we're really looking forward. It's been a long time coming. Gosh, I guess it'd be 13 years since I've been to Ultra. Just busy out here on the West Coast. And speaking of residencies or where you reside, you're originally from Mexico City, and now you're both stateside. You've been here for about 4 years, each of you. How are the differences between the United States electronic music environment or festival market in that sense, as opposed to the United States?
I mean, obviously there's general similarities with the events and with the like the great vibe that definitely comes in with through an EDM concert. But I think mostly the biggest difference I have noticed is the genres. The US is more like bass oriented, more dubstep, maybe even a bit more hard style. In Mexico, it's always been, I think it's always grown to be more commercial, big roomish EDM, now turning towards more like the tech sound, techno, the Tulum vibes, But it's definitely, I think it's the consumers and what they are looking for. It's one of the main and biggest differences.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think the festival vibes and everything overall is pretty similar. Mainly because, the organizers of the big festivals are the same. You see the full circle everywhere you go of people, and it's pretty similar. But yeah, I think what really separates it is the genres and the musical taste. And trance is one of the only genres that I see a big similarity in the US and Mexico.
Yeah.
Now, how about that compared to Europe?
Okay, yeah.
Trance is also big in Europe, but yeah, I mean, you see hardstyle in Europe. You see a lot of commercial stuff in Europe as well.
Yeah, and I think like, yeah, Big Room obviously has a very big influence in Europe. Most of the DJs being from the Netherlands in our industry. but yeah, I mean, overall, there's a lot of similarities, but also I think there's a cultural aspect to it, and it's cultural aspect in the way that how society behaves, infrastructure for festivals, infrastructure for the music business. So it has to do a lot with what the country does as a society and as like a political entity, and I think that's very important to notice for the music scene as well.
Definitely, definitely. One question I wanted to bring up, because you mentioned it, was Tulum. Have you two got to go down there and play it all over the last year or two?
No, we haven't. I mean, it's
It
not
keeps
really our genre, what's being played over there.
Mhm,
It's harder to find a club that's doing big room over there.
mhm.
But we're definitely, as consumers, we're definitely into techno and tech house and the tribal house, all of the things that are going on in Tulum. I think it's such an interesting sound, and I think as a festival goer, I think it's the hype right now.
Yeah, one of our resident DJs, she definitely goes down there a lot and performs down there. Lucy Tudor, one to watch for, by the way. And I definitely want to get down there and hang out sometime. It sounds like an amazing time, and like you said, just kind of that gem that has popped off and people are going for. Speaking of big name events, big room, your sound, at clubs and other dance events, should people look at the DJs like they're rock stars, or would it be more fun if DJs were kind of more slightly anonymous and just part of the bigger event? What's your take on that?
I mean, ultimately, I think it depends on the perspective of each fan. And it also depends on the personality of the DJ. There's DJs that are a little bit more, they hold back a little bit more. They're more about the music and just, doing their thing rather than really hyping up the crowd and like being the center of attention. And which, both sides are, I respect both sides, and ultimately it's the decision that the person makes. But I think there's a really nice, if you can find that balance of connecting with the crowd, being a part of the event, but at the same time having everyone engaged with what you're doing, I think that's like very special in this industry.
Yeah.
Gabriel, your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I definitely agree with all that Arturo has said, and also I feel, EDM being the community it is, the community the DJs have, and with their fans, the interactions. So yeah, it's pretty respectable. Both takes are pretty respectable. At the end of the day, as a musical artist, it's there's going to be attention on the DJ, but yeah, it's up to everyone.
Yeah, what was interesting for me, and I'd been to a few festivals before, but going back to EDC Vegas 2021, even though I had the VIP experience, it was still very hard to see the artist on stage. I mean, there was one point I think I got BT and he was maybe this big. Maybe this big.
Yeah.
Or, I guess he was 3 feet high. Let me put it that way. I guess that doesn't translate very well.
Yeah.
I think you understand what I'm getting at. Maybe it was this big, but obviously it was the stage performance, the light show, the drone owl that's floating in the sky, and all the fireworks. And at one point, my friend and I, we just decided. We posted up in this really cool kind of spot that we found. It was like this kind of VIP lounge that kind of looked over all of the entire festival as a whole. And we just kind of sucked it in as what was going on with the music. You could kind of hear music from here and music from here. And it was kind of like just getting a 30,000 foot level view of everything that was going on. And we just get out of the RV, go get some drinks, and just go post right up there every night and sit there for 4 or 5 hours and just talk with people from around the world, just having fun. Actually, one of his DJs proposed to his fiance there. Speaking of, that's how awesome of a place it was with the fireworks going off and everything. That's awesome. again, different strokes for different folks. I want to go see the artist. I want to be right up front in the stage and be all mushed like this. And that way they can see him play. But, we were watching Shaquille O'Neal playing, and that was pretty interesting. But I couldn't really see him with the lights. The lights are all in my face. So. Excuse me. But it was still a great experience. So always nice to find out, what people think about on that subject. Should the DJ be part of it, or should it be more of the light show and the experience, the immersiveness that happens?
Yeah,
I think what you're saying is cool because you have both options, like you're just describing it. There's people right here and like that want to be like in the middle of everyone and just hanging out there and sweating and just seeing up close. And then there's the other option to be just like more of like having that full overview of what's going on.
And also as a DJ, maybe some of the folks that are going to join this to listen are interested. As a DJ, when you're preparing a set and when you're preparing for a festival, you need to understand that there will be a lot of different people going to the festival for a lot of different reasons. Some people will be there for the experience. Some people will be there for the music. Some people will be there for, I don't know, whatever reason. So you gotta, of course, keep true to your sound and keep true to you as an artist and what your project is doing. But also you have to, in a way, make it open enough so that everyone can be pleased by your set. So that's something very important to keep and notice when you're planning sets for the smallest of shows or the biggest of shows. It's always important to keep that like open format and open mind, that you have to, adapt your set to feature you, but please all the different people that are there.
Absolutely. And, in my youth, I would probably be one of those kids running right up to the front of the stage and staying there for 4 hours and getting the bottles of water handed to me and probably passing out and getting thrown over the thing and like, okay, get out of here. I'm a little bit older now. I've been doing this for 30 years, roughly. I'm not 30 years old, although people think I look 30, which is cool. Thank you. That's that awesome filter effect that Zoom has. That gets I have hair and makeup over on the side, right? It touched me up for everything. Like I'm look all good. No, but I'm a little older now, and I kind of take that. I'm not going to rush the crowd. I like to see the production. I like to see the production value. And the sound, the light show, and take that kind of experience in and just have a good time with my friends, chilling at a big event.
It's all about that. It's all about having a good time, getting to come out of the festival and be like, whoa, like that was amazing. That was an amazing experience.
Exactly.
Regardless of what you did, what you didn't do, just the overall experience, I think.
Exactly. So I was going over some of your socials and looking at them. Is it work all the time? What do you guys do for fun?
No, we have fun. We have fun.
We definitely have fun every once in a while, but when we're not on social media, we're having fun. That's how it's like, I know you're supposed to follow the 80-20 rule with social media. It's 80% pleasure, 20% or 80% personal, 20% business. Since I have fun with what I do at work, I share a lot more. My ratio is usually like 50-50, more food pics on the 50 side of things and then business. So it's 50% food, 50%, work, but I enjoy what I do. So like you said, it's a pleasure to be able to share what you love doing, what your passion is, at the same time having fun doing that. Of course, I'm sure there's times when I'm lugging gear or doing something. It's like, okay, this isn't the fun part, but you know what? We're going to do the show and that's going to be fun. And I'm not going to be sitting there documenting that and going, loading gear in, sound check. I got this cable that I had to go fix. And I'm not going to bore anyone to death with all that stuff. They're going to see the aftermath of the production. I think of it sometimes when I explain to people, they use the analogy of the man behind the curtain from The Wizard of Oz. A lot of people don't understand all the work and everything that goes in behind the curtain. They only see what's in front of the curtain or on the stage. And sometimes people use, obviously social media to show that people get an image of people based on their social media and what they do, thinking, wow, you're in all these places, you're partying all the time and you're here, you're a jet setter. And you're like,
Well, actually, I just took that picture and that was from 3 weeks ago and I decided to upload it. I've been chilling at home in the studio for the last month. Like, and the stories that can be told are just interesting. So I just look at you guys are having a lot of fun, doing a lot of work. Now, in all of this fun that you're having and work, how do you two stay fit?
We don't.
We don't. Yeah, that's the thing. You're just seeing half of our body right now. That's the trick.
We wouldn't fit in the screen right now.
Yeah. You got some of the is it studio weight you're carrying around, you think?
Especially because of the pandemic, we've been more stable. I mean,
I think it's easier to like eat healthy in the US, especially, or not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but it's easier than somewhere else because I don't know in Miami, but in LA, you know how the culture is, and like everyone stays healthy and fit and like green stuff and like the organic and all that crazy stuff that is very accessible. And yeah, I think that's one of the food is like probably 80% of how I stay fit. And I try to stay active, when I'm not sitting down in a chair, just staring at a computer for hours and hours and hours.
Is it true that the top 3 topics of conversation in LA are green foods, Bitcoin, and NFTs?
And not non-GMO as well.
Non-GMOs. Okay.
Forgot that.
I mean, one can control their diet and live healthily and not have to say work out or burn off or take that excessive route. I personally do Beat Saber and get about 350 calories a day in 30 minutes. And had my mom try it out the other day and she was on it for 10 minutes. She's like, oh my gosh, you really get a workout doing this.
Yeah.
And this is coming from a kid who grew up in health clubs. My dad was a world-class athlete. My mom, they developed the aerobics training program for a chain of health clubs back in the 80s. So I grew up very health inclined, like ingrained in my head on how to keep weight off, hit your target heart rate, all that stuff in my head. You could say I grew up, if health clubs were nightclubs, I grew up in nightclubs as a kid from the age of 2 up, literally every day, like with a racquetball racket in my hand. But yeah, if you don't, you can manage yourself with diet. And that's one way you can just watch your caloric intake, don't eat 5,000 calories, don't eat 3 Big Macs a day. Come on. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's also important, I think, for like mental health overall to have physical health. But yeah, I mean,
we do work out. It's try, we have to. I hate getting to the point of like working out, all the process before working out. Once I start, I'm good. But it's that hard part that comes before that. I'm still trying to manage it.
And this is all coming from the guy asking the questions who goes to the movie theater and orders the medium popcorn, the large icy, the thing of nachos, 2 hot dogs, right? I'm the guy who goes, I got movie theaters right down the street from my place and I'll go catch all the new releases. And, I'll pay $25 to go see 40X, but then I'm in the chair and I'm like holding this thing and like back and forth. I'm like, maybe the chairs give me a workout. I'll call it a day. But I mean, staying healthy, definitely, like you said, mental health is also, something to consider. Because when you get out on the road there's the temptation or the thing that you want to let loose. You want to party. Yeah. And most sets that I know for most DJs, unless you're doing a daytime gig, you're going to be going on at midnight or 1, and you're going to be rocking that out till 2 or 3. And then you still got an after show, and then you got to get to the hotel or to the airport, and there could be something leading up to that, and that could be back to back to back to back. Yeah, to like one city to the next city to the next city, and if you're not getting your sleep or your rest, and you're just burnt out, or even I hear a lot of artists, I do a couple Red Bulls, and I'm like, give me a Red Bull, and I'm
So. But I think we, like, both of us are really not concerned, but we're aware of that, and we try to like, we like to party, but we know our limits, I think.
And at the end of the day, this is a job. You have to see it as a job. It's not okay, I'm hitting the road and I'm just gonna go and get drunk everywhere and party. It's a job. At the end of the day, you're there to do your job.
And ultimately, I mean, as a producer, I think you ultimately not depend, but like you rely on your creative being or creative health. And I think if you burn out, then you're not able to like get that creativity out, which is frustrating, and it happens a lot. But it's the hard part that comes with this.
It took me many years for me to actually enact a policy with my company that when we do shows, no one on the team, if we're doing a 4-hour show, I don't start serving them drinks, or they don't get drinks for 2 hours into the show.
Yeah.
It's like, let's get everything done. And
that's how we play it.
And like, if you can wait till 2 more hours till the show's done, we run the bar, we have all the alcohol. Let's party after the show's done, but not during the show, and I've heard horror stories of DJs getting behind the decks, completely trashed and not having a good set. And in this day and age where you have public opinion so quick with a mobile device and then record it, and they're like, you can't, that'd be a PR nightmare for a lot of people. And then getting a booking again and be like, why would I want to book this person again if they're going to act like that? So young upcoming DJs, take some advice. Where they're at. Party later. Party later. Yeah. Save it for later. Speaking of careers and longevity of careers, and we were talking about bands earlier, so this will be relevant. U2 and the Rolling Stones have been rocking stadiums forever and a day. Yeah. Would you see U2 DJing at the age of 70 years old?
Absolutely. I mean,
it's what we love, for sure.
Yeah, I think it would be nice,
I mean, we would probably have a different, like writer, probably our show would start at like 8 and we would need, like a bench. So we would play sitting down.
And maybe a couple of vitamins instead of
tequila
and vodka on the rider.
Yeah. But definitely, yeah. I mean, we'll see where this road takes us, but I can't wait to be 70 and raving every day.
Well, one thing that I haven't seen yet, and you could kind of give a little props to a lot of bigger known DJs like Carl Cox, is there hasn't really been a retirement age set for DJing. I mean, for music production in general, one, but a DJ, like if Carl said, okay, I'm retiring, I'm out of the game, would others start getting out? I mean, obviously there's fallout. People stop doing it. People's careers go other ways. They take on day jobs. They get married. They have kids, whatever comes up in their life. But, we haven't really seen a wave of retirement, and some of these DJs are pushing. I mean, I'm pushing 48 this year. I'm not a DJ, but some of these DJs, they're older than I am, and they're pushing 60. And still going strong. I think it's very relevant that we'll see DJs still DJing at 70 years old. Like you said, their rider might change up a little bit. And speaking of riders, what's the most unusual thing on your rider?
We had one done, I remember, for one of our tours that included like something with M&Ms. I remember
the brown M&Ms in a glass.
Yeah, the old trick.
Yeah,
but I mean, there's really nothing unusual. We
keep it pretty simple. We don't because at the end of the day, it's going to be a person who's going to have to start splitting M&Ms, and it's like, why be an asshole to them? Just give us whatever. We'll take.
Yeah, just get what you need.
Some tequila. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that move. To see if they're actually paying attention, but it's just a dick move, honestly. Like,
why make a day harder on this person?
Exactly. Like at the end of the day, they're bringing you stuff that you are going to consume, and I don't see the point on making it complicated.
Absolutely. I just wanted to bring that up because you mentioned writer, so I was curious about that. Now, unfortunately, in the music industry, for everyone, success doesn't last forever. What do you two do to save up for the future? What do you invest your earnings in just to have that blanket? Or is there any advice or anything you're working on that you're kind of really passionate about that says, oh, I see this as being a future, or this is what I want to invest in for the future if you were to stop being a DJ, performer, producer?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're still very young, we're just jumping into that adult world. I'm 22, Gabriel's 23, and yeah, so it's
okay.
me personally, I've always had this in mind of like saving, not really limiting myself if I want to buy something, but really, saving, because, my parents, they've always, from experience, they've always said, like, you have to save. It's very important. And it's really worked out, because ultimately you look back, and if you want to do something, you have enough money to do it, and I think it's really smart to start saving at a young age. And as far as other things, I mean, we're just getting into it. So I would honestly,
but also I think we've always had, this side besides music, where we're taking care of other stuff. We're not putting all our eggs into one basket. Obviously, music is our passion, and music is the way we want to go. But we've always been interested on other stuff, and we've always, also taken care of that other side of us for different reasons, like.
Yeah, to have a steady income, to be able to pay our bills, and
exactly,
it's necessary, because, and all of you artists that are listening to this, it's hard, it's definitely not everything will come to you as
that quickly, yeah,
because there's really no steady income, especially now in the pandemic. You can't really tour 12 months a year. And yeah, I mean, it's not easy, but it's manageable. And if you really enjoy what you're doing,
you just got to find a way to balance it out. And like everything in life, there's this balance, and if you really want to go for it, do it.
Yeah.
Have you two looked at NFTs? I know that's kind of a big buzzword right now. And doing anything in the NFT world?
We have, but I mean, me personally, I understand the hype behind it. I think it's really cool what's happening, and it's crazy to see how the world is, changing into that world, into that mindset, and like just system, I guess. And I don't know, it's something that I simply haven't been able to wrap my head around yet. But I think it's crazy to for people to buy, digital things for that amount of money. I don't undervalue or underestimate the artists that are, creating the NFTs. But I still just can't wrap my head around. It's not that I'm against.
I think
it's the future.
It's time to wrap your head around it, because that's what it's going to be.
It is.
Either we like it or not. I mean, we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting buzz going on around it, and
it's just mind blowing that you buy something and then Elon Musk tweets about it, and then suddenly you're worth zero. Or like everything can shift so quick with crypto and NFTs, and well, not really NFTs, but crypto more than that. It's just it's such a fine line you're walking on, or so it's still a bit of a weird thing for me, but I'm definitely looking forward to get into it.
Yeah, one of the interesting uses that I've proposed, I haven't done any research in any way, shape, or form on this, is to think that you have a lot of images that might be used online without other people's permission. And those could be NFT protected. And then something like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, when you go to load that image up, if you don't have the NFT rights to that,
Right.
it won't let you upload it.
Yeah.
Because you don't have permission to use that. And if you do it, that could be basically, in a sense, copyright infringement, or you don't have permission. And you know, to see something like if an iPhone, all of a sudden, the moment you took a picture, it automatically added an NFT to it, that it was your picture from your phone that you did it. You know, I don't know. Maybe it'll get that crazy in the next couple of years.
That's kind of cool. That's kind of
technology's there. But let's say somebody wanted to play put a track up somewhere, you know, and it was NFT protected. Yeah. You know, then it'd be like, oh, you can't do that. You don't own the rights to do that. And it might give artists a way to kind of still hold on to something there as
100%,
well.
100%.
We just I think,
yeah, no, that's completely right. And don't get me wrong. I'm like,
yeah. Also, we're no experts in NFTs. So
yeah,
neither am I. Shouldn't be taking.
Yeah, if someone who's like crazy into NFTs watching this are gonna be like, oh, these guys, you know.
Yeah, no, we're all rookies here. We're all actually not even rookies. I mean, I have a guy who knows this stuff. He's waiting for it to drop. I'm looking at doing some NFTs with all our DJ sessions assets that we have. We have over 2,200 episodes. And I'm like, well, why don't we NFT all the episodes? What does that mean? Like, yeah, okay, great. Like, okay, great. Somebody can still watch it if they want to, but I have some back end ideas that I'm thinking about doing with this that would kind of be special. I'm not going to announce them because I don't give away my secrets to everyone. But some like cool things. I think it would be a nice thing. And we're looking at getting into that and looking at NFT market. But always asking people, those are kind of like one of the buzzwords going right now in the music industry and the arts industry. But switching gears just a little bit to another little bit of a buzz, or actually pretty big buzz, VR and AR. Have you two looked or explored anything in the VR or AR marketplace or realm?
Yeah,
I've tried some VR glasses out, definitely, but I don't really know what's going on in there. I'm just really intrigued by the whole metaverse, and I saw that they're selling properties in the metaverse, and it's like a virtual property. So that's just too crazy to me now. I mean,
yeah, that's a little bit ahead of our. I mean, not ahead of our time, but it's just like still trying to wrap my head around it.
But it's for sure where it's headed. I mean,
yeah, and that's the future, and it's crazy. I mean, I've tried the Oculus, and you know what you were saying of like lightsaber, like just working out there, and it's crazy. I mean, it's really amazing to see that there's, you know, all those possibilities open. I saw a reel from Dylan Francis DJing with this. I don't know if it was like a joke, but he had the goggles on in the live set, the Oculus, and he was mixing like with the VR on, but like, you know, he had like a virtual set with like a full crowd in front of him in the real world and the VR world at the same time.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was a joke or not. But
we'll see how we adapted, like how our industry adapts to this VR, because it's definitely something interesting, you know, especially now with the pandemic going on, and when people have been confined to home. Like before shows came back, that would have been a great opportunity for DJs if that system would have been in place. But also, I'm really curious to see what's going to be. How is this going to be added into festivals and into the live experiences? Because it definitely has an opportunity to make these festival experiences, which are great, even greater.
Yeah,
absolutely. We're actually in development of launching a VR nightclub ourselves. And, you know, with the amount of content we have, basically, we're really excited about this. We look at it as version 1 or even a beta nightclub. My full version, what I want to design, which will probably be a couple years out, and a lot of dev work. But we look at it as the new frontier of back in the day. Everyone, you know, well, you guys might not remember this, but everyone had MySpace back in the day. Yeah. And then everyone jumped to Facebook. But even before that, you had the .com, you know, in 2000, it was everyone get a website, get a .com. And that was before social media. And then social media came in. It was get a MySpace, get a Facebook, get your socials. It's still very important to get a website, but obviously my friend said to me 2 days ago, he goes, Darren, the one thing I love about you, you're always 10 years forward in your thinking. We were doing live streaming DJ shows 12 years ago. And, it wasn't until a couple of years ago that I would walk up to people and I'd say, oh yeah, we're a live streaming DJ show. We're on Twitch. And they'd say, what's Twitch?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, okay. And then they go, well, who wants to watch a DJ show online from their computer from home? And I'm like, okay, do you listen to music on your phone? Do you watch YouTube videos on your phone? Do you listen to music in your car? Like, that's the same. You can do that same experience, but if you want to kind of see what's going on, you can also do that. And we try to do it from different locations. And obviously 2 years ago, everyone went boom and jumped online. And then that conversation became a lot easier when people are like, oh, you're on Twitch, or, oh, a DJ show. I watch 5 of those a week. I'm like, yeah, I was trying to tell you guys this for the last 10 years. This is what we're doing. But it made things a lot easier for us. But again,
what do you want to tell us now?
Oh, I'm saying VR. That's what I was going to get to, is that VR is going to be the next. And if you're just getting into VR now, you're being a good spot, because you will later transcend into AR, which is going to be the next level. AR isn't there yet because there's no real, like Facebook runs Oculus. So we know there's billions of dollars behind that. We know Google's developing something. Apple's developing something. Sony has something coming out. Microsoft's probably working on something, and there's a bunch of slew of other companies that are probably putting something together as well. Yeah. That being said, who's going to emerge as the industry leader? And, over Christmas, there was a lot of Oculuses being sold. A lot of people getting into virtual reality. So that's going to be the next thing. But when you mentioned, the video that where he's DJing in front of the crowd and to a real crowd, that's going to be that actually already is a reality. You could do that. Of course, he's going to kind of look funny wearing a headset up on stage in front of 10,000 people. But with AR, that experience he can just put on a pair of glasses, see right through and see the stage, and then also see see an AR audience out there as well. But from the consumer side of things, you take a show. I have an event space I'm working with out of Arizona, holds about 8,000 people. And I'll be the VR AR director of operations there. So we can come in and they can build the whole stage. I can take a blank room. I can make an entire AR event experience. Yeah. There's nothing in the room. I could put a DJ on a blank stage, but then you put the glasses on and I can transform that whole room into the universe. Right. And I can have different pop-ups and interactions as you walk around the room, and you're walking around the room and seeing other people. In that, we could also bring in virtual people into that room that are from around the world in their living room. I can interact with them while being in real time. Yeah, it's gonna pop off. But unfortunately, the dissemination of the tech there isn't out yet. Apple's supposed to be releasing theirs late 2022 here. There's some other rumors of it on the market, but it's coming. But for now, we're going to be operating in a VR environment. So if you can look into that. Some stuff's going on there. Definitely you two at the start of this have a very unique opportunity to get a foothold in there. Sure. I look at it as like even building your own website. It's just another extent. If you got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, your domain name, website, go over and get into alt space, get into VR chat, and go into rec room. Find a developer. They could maybe work with you on it and give you some consultation and say, here, set these things up and put this in here. And then it's just another branding opportunity for you. Your fans are using Oculus. Your fans are going to use AR. Why not have a link on your website and say, hey, go check us out. And you could set up you could create a studio in VR and then go in there and hang out with your fans in VR. And kind of talk about you could actually put cameras up in your studio and have studio sessions and have people come visit you in your VR studio while you're there interacting with you. I mean, hang on.
That's pretty cool.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Wow, this interview is going so great. No, we've actually ran out of time twice. I've never had that happen before. Thank you guys so much. But yeah, I could talk about AR and VR to your heart's content. If you do have any questions about that, I'd be more than happy to answer those for you, point you in the right direction. But speaking of events, last question I want to get to you is, if you could host an event of your own without any limitations, name 5 things you would want to have at that event.
That's a good one.
Taco stand.
Yeah,
Number
for
one.
sure.
Wait a second. Street taco stand?
Street taco.
Okay, street
taco. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, of course.
Is there a favorite taco stand either you have in Miami or LA that you go to frequently?
I do.
I don't know any in Miami.
I do. There's one called Tacos El Venado here in LA, North Hollywood. It's so good. And it's I think it's the closest to Mexico that I've had out here. But I think that maybe what else would we have? We'd have that's a hard question.
Yeah, we would have.
That's one thing.
This great lineup of DJs, like our favorite DJs, our favorite artists. Let's not go to DJs. That's obviously important.
That's 2 things.
2 things. Great lineup, tacos. I mean, what else do you need in life? Great artist.
Tequila.
Massive swimming pool with like a lot of fishes and sharks.
Oh, what?
Dolphins. Like a large swimming pool with fishes and
like
sharks.
Like an aquarium.
Yeah, exactly.
Aquarium, like just.
Yeah. Okay. So instead of a screen on the back of the stage, there's this giant ass aquarium.
Yeah. That changes like.
Yeah. I might have to reach out to your booking manager. I have an idea for a show.
We would have. I have another thing. We would probably have like this massive jar of brown M&Ms only to make our rider dreams come true. Everyone can grab it.
How massive? Does it have to be like big enough for somebody to dive into and swim through?
Yeah, exactly. But only brown M&Ms.
Fit the aquarium theme.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not going to dive in with the dolphins, sharks, and that tank. They're going to dive in the M&M bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
And what else? We have one more thing. Because the tequila comes with a taco stand.
Oh, tequila comes with, okay. Yeah,
of course.
But it wouldn't be a stand. It would be more like shooting tacos like fireworks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like a taco launcher.
Taco launcher.
Yeah, for sure.
That could get messy really quick.
But automatic. They would shoot them out in like little bags.
Little bag, yeah.
Yeah.
Like tamales, like.
Awesome, yeah. What else? We have one more thing to go. I don't know. Let's get creative. Like something weird. A monster truck.
A monster truck.
A monster truck towing you around on a stage with an aquarium with a bowl of M&Ms that you can swim in, firing off tacos.
Yeah.
With a fire lineup.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You know, I actually can almost complete like half of that with what we do. Awesome. Well, thank you both for coming on the DJ sessions. Is there anything else you'd like to let our DJ sessions fans know about before we let you get back to what you're doing?
You or me?
Go.
Yeah. Well, going back to the start, be sure to check out this banger song we worked on for so long. It just came out on Rave Culture, WNW's label. We are so happy to have worked with Origin Nilsson, and we really hope you like the song. Make sure to follow us on our socials.
Yeah,
that's your department.
Okay. Instagram and Twitter, ANG DJs. Facebook, ANG Official.
And Spotify,
ANG.
Awesome. Well, thank you two so much for coming on the DJ sessions. It was a joy having you both on. We'll be following up with you later in the year, get you back on. Want to stay up to date with what you two are working on at all times. So again, thank you very much for coming on the DJ sessions.
Thank you for having us. It was a great chat.
Absolutely. And don't forget to go to our website, thedjsessions.com. Find us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. and Instagram. Hashtag us the DJ Sessions or TDJS if you're so bold. This is Arturo and Gabriel with ANG on the DJ Sessions presents the virtual sessions. And you know what happens on the DJ Sessions? The music never stops.